Hello everybody, my name is Tom Mann and I am one of the co-founders of the Tuesday Morning Sales Club. I am also a managing partner for a firm called Mann Consulting, and we specialize in marketing and advertising for retirement communities, senior housing. Anyway, Terry Kyle asked me to talk today about what are some of the most common things we see with clients who are struggling. A lot of times, Mann Consulting, we're called in by either a bank when they have a client, a piece of property that isn't reaching absorption, or very often by a management company who understands that they're struggling and looks for some outside help. I should also mention that, by the way, not all of our clients call us when they're at that stage. Sometimes we get the call at the beginning when they are thinking about developing the project. So Terry's question to me was, Tom, what are the three variables or factors that you see when you go into a community and it's struggling? Fortunately, that's actually a pretty easy question. The three things are usually very obvious. The first thing we very often see is that the pricing is out of whack. What I mean by that is that the community started development and the pro forma was done when the real estate market was at its peak, and they haven't adjusted the pro forma and the pricing to match today's reality. And today's reality is that folks are having trouble selling their house and they're not getting prices anywhere near where they were at the peak of the market. So those communities that haven't adjusted their prices to reality, and the reality is that they have to sell their house to move into your community. If that isn't happening, that makes absorption a much more difficult thing to achieve. So that's the first thing, and that's usually pretty easy to see, and that sometimes requires a conversation with management where we talk about the objectives, reaching high occupancy versus maintaining their pricing, and there's kind of a balancing act that goes on. The second thing that's very common that we see is that a lack of sales training and experience. Retirement communities, for some reason, in this industry, we have a couple problems going on. One is that we don't pay our salespeople enough to stay competitive with other sales environments. So good salespeople don't naturally move towards our industry. They're attracted to industries where they can actually make a higher commission. The second problem we see is that very often retirement communities put people who are, quote, nice into a sales position. Sally was a very nice receptionist. She's very polite. She's cheerful. The residents seem to like her. Let's promote her to sales. Well, Sally may be a nice person, but she doesn't really have sales training. That is actually one of the reasons why Terry and I decided to create the Tuesday Morning Sales Club. I kept bumping into that problem time and time again, where we started the marketing for communities, generated lots of leads, but then we didn't have salespeople who were capable of closing them. So we created the Tuesday Morning Sales Club to help people get more comfortable with the process of selling, giving them the confidence they need to succeed. We owe it to our salespeople to give them the training, to train them up. The other thing we owe our salespeople is leads, and that's the third thing we see very common as a variable missing for communities that are struggling. Lack of leads. There's a mindset for many communities, particularly older communities that are not-for-profit and really haven't had to work for leads in a while, that we should have a system where we nurture a few leads and really follow them all the way through. And that's not a bad thought process. I actually believe in nurturing leads, but I also know in communities that are sizable or new communities, you need a lot of leads coming in. So the first thing I'd recommend to you and your team is that you purchase a list of age, income, and home qualified people within your 20-mile radius. You're going to need that list to generate the amount of leads you need. The second thing is, once you have that list, I recommend a comprehensive direct mail program that includes events such as lunch and learns. And then the third thing is, I recommend using a tool we use for our clients very often, which is a customized 8-page newspaper. The purpose of this newspaper is twofold, really, to generate new leads and to stay connected to the leads you already have. What you want to do is tell them that each and every month, here's things going on in your community. And if you can't afford every month, you want to try at least quarterly. We create this, just the newspaper, for a whole bunch of clients and management firms as a tool to do that. The paper includes a business reply card that generates the leads very often, but then it's also 8 pages of content created just for this market. So the bulk of the paper is just general interest, but then there's customized sales pieces in the paper dependent on that market. So this is just one tool, gives you an idea of how to stay in touch with the market. And I'm not saying you have to use that tool. There's a whole bunch of things you can do. I'll be happy to talk to any of you and give you a bunch of ideas. Getting leads, getting fresh leads in is important, because you have to realize really that this is a huge decision for people to make. And you have to catch them at the right moment. And usually, let's be honest, there's a hidden health concern, or a spouse has died, or the house has become too much. So you have to catch the leads at the right point in time. And so that requires generating lots of leads. With the leads you're generating, you're going to continue to work the new leads you've gotten, but you're also going to be reaching out every month for new leads. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. This is the first of many, many to come, and keep up the good work.